it's party time. My golf story brought to you by Party Drinks. Classically designed golf drinks for golfers by golfers. And the golf real estate pros Gene Walsh and Vince Visicaro. For your Southwest Florida real estate needs, check them out at suncoastdreams.com. Now here's your host, Kevin Walsh.
Hey, thanks a lot and welcome to the program. Is that a new voice or is that an old voice that's new again? That's a beautiful voice. Welcome to the program. If things look and sound a little bit different than they have in the past, there's a reason for that. We've had a name change on the podcast. No longer are we It's Party Time, chasing it on the West Florida Golf Tour. It's Party Time. My golf story. Basically, the spirit of the podcast has not changed at all. We're still chasing it along with guys that have a connection to the West Florida Golf Tour because they're in the backyard. Their stories are endlessly fascinating. And we will continue to be the podcast that takes you deep behind the scenes, pulling back the curtain, because that's what more and more people know. We have a great guest for you today, Brian Richey. He's played on the Korn Ferry Tour. He's playing on the West Florida Golf Tour and is off to a very hot start. Before we bring Brian into the mix, big thanks to our title sponsors, Party Drinks, a golf drink for golfers by golfers. If you're getting a little tired of the old, tired, hard seltzers or other things on the golf course and you want something that is really smooth, strong, and screams golf and makes everybody feel like they're having a party, Party is for you. For a list of the available locations where you can find it, log on to the internet at drinkparty.com. And if one of your dreams is to own a home on a golf course or in a golf resort, or if you already live in a place like that and you're looking to sell the home, the real estate team of Vince Visicaro and Gene Walsh, nobody better than that. suncoastdreams.com, or you can check them out at 941-220-4000. All right, so that's the housekeeping stuff. Time to bring in our guest, Brian Richey. Brian, hey, it's great to have you on the program. I know you've got a ton of stories, and once we get you rolling, who knows what's going to happen, but that's the good thing, and that's the whole purpose of the podcast. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How about you? Thanks for having me on.
I'm doing pretty good myself. You did not play in practice today. That was a smart move because I was on the golf course today. It was steady 20 to 25 mile an hour winds, 3-club win. You picked a good day to take a little bit of a rest. But where are you joining us from?
Winter Park, Florida.
All right. And you're in a little bit of transition. You're making a move. What's going on in life?
Yes. My wife over the summer got a new job in Tampa. So we're going to be moving over to the Tampa area in the next few months. So we're kind of in transition right now.
Got a place all set up where you can continue the practicing and chasing the dream over there?
Yes. So I'll kind of probably split some time between TPC Tampa Bay, and then I'm still a member at the club in Lakeland where we played in college at Lone Palm Golf Club. So kind of we'll be living kind of about halfway between both. So won't be around the corner from either one, but be close enough to get over there to each one each day.
Well, you're off to a real hot start on the West Florida Golf Tour. 3 starts at the time of this recording, and we're recording on January 9th, so people know. You have a win. You lost in the playoffs, so tied for second and tied for 17th. What's working?
Well, kind of just played solid all year, really. But I would say this fall, just had a little bit of a mental kind of refresh where I just tried to be a little bit more patient and, be a little bit more accepting of, what I was doing and just kind of focusing on the process and the things I control or things that I can control. And yeah, when you do that, good things happen. And then when good things happen, you tend to build on that confidence and more good things keep happening. So that's kind of, it's simple, almost taking it a little bit more simple than I was, not beating myself up so much.
Help me understand that though. Where were you that you felt like you needed to have that reset?
Well, I played up in Canada this summer, and I had a solid summer up there, but I have high expectations for myself, and didn't quite check all the boxes that I was trying to do. You have to, in that short season up there, I feel like you need to win one of the golf tournaments to really finish in that top 5, which is the goal to get to the Korn Ferry Tour Finals, or I guess they're PGA Tour Finals now. So yeah, I think some of the weeks, and even a few of my close friends and team had suggested like, hey, whenever we text you like good round or like nice playing, when you have a good round, the first thing is always, man, I'm always like, man, I should have shot a couple shots lower. I was never happy with, even the good scores. You forget about the putts you make and the 10 footers or the up and down when things are going well. So yeah, just a little bit of some people reminded me of that. And then I kind of was already a little bit of aware of it, but then, having someone step up to it and say it to me was like, hey, all right, let's just take a step back, reset, just relax and trust that, keeping it simple and accepting things will help the results moving forward.
And the results show themselves. Did you try and put a more conscious effort in just getting back to having fun too?
Yeah, for sure. Well, and when you do those things, like I mentioned, you tend to play a little bit better, or the results get a little better, and it's obviously more fun when you're playing better. So it's amazing how one little thing is a domino effect for everything else.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Hey, take me back to the beginning of the journey. Where did you grow up, and how do you think that influenced your life as a person and as a golfer?
I grew up in Lakeland, Florida. Was born and raised there. Went to Lakeland High School. Went to Florida Southern College, which was also in Lakeland. Both my high school and my college they're within a half mile of each other. But yeah, Lakeland was a great place to grow up. It's a very sports rich town. Their high school football team is one of the best in the nation. So like, being from there, everybody always mentions like Lakeland football, it's kind of a prideful thing. And then we've also had some very good golfers come from Lakeland. Lee Jansen went to Lakeland High School, Andy Bean. Then even, guys who weren't from there had eventually settled there over the years, like Marco Dawson. And then with the Florida Southern pipeline, you've had guys turn pro, live there for a little while or come back. And yeah, it's just it's a great town. I mean, it's kind of has small town vibes, but it's not that small. I think it's, when I was growing up, it was probably around 100,000. I don't know what it is now. It could be closer to 200,000. I feel like every time I go there, there's more traffic and more houses being built. So, but yeah, great place to grow up.
Well, I think the secret's out about Lakeland because I am almost positive it's the fastest growing city in Florida, and it may be in America for some of the reasons you just mentioned, but also the proximity to Orlando and Tampa. I mean, that seems to make all the sense.
That was always a great positive, was you could be close enough to both of them, but not have to live in either one. So you could, you kind of get that, like I said, get that a little bit of more of a small town vibe. But I mean, if you want to go to a Lightning game, I mean, I was 30 to 35 minutes from the Lightning games, Orlando, maybe a touch farther, but you have two major airports, and, a lot of people who do commute for business, they decide they want to live there, and then they can go either way. Or if if you're some sort of representative for a company or a regional, it's a good central location to kind of bounce back and forth between.
Who put a club in your hand for the first time, and when was it?
I don't know exactly when. I mean, I remember being a young guy, like, maybe I want to say like 6 or 7, maybe, and playing with my dad a few times, like just being in the cart with him when we'd be on a vacation or something, and he'd go play and I'd ride around with him. But I was actually much more into other sports, team sports, baseball, basketball, football. I played a little bit of soccer, like not consistently, but like a few years spaced out. I'd play it for a year and then played another year, maybe a few years later. But yeah, golf I didn't really catch the golf bug until kind of 7th or 8th grade, kind of summer going into high school, just playing in the summer with my friends, just kind of playing the junior league that they had.
Mm-hmm. When did you know you were good?
I mean, different levels of good. I mean, I was definitely like late to the party at each level. I was, like I said, I got into competitive golf a little bit late. So my freshman year of high school, I went out for the team and I was on the JV team, and I was shooting low 40s. It wasn't great, but it was, something to build on. And then sophomore, junior, senior year was like each year got a little bit better. And then, senior year became the number one player on the team and was, the county player of the year. And then, and then same thing I felt like I kind of started over when I went to Florida Southern. I was like played a couple times my first year and then didn't play again until my third year. And then the same thing, like fourth and fifth years, got in the lineup, was playing every tournament, was, 3 or 4 guy for that third and fourth year. And then my senior year was kind of the same thing, kind of the 3 guy, but ended up playing the best at the end of the year and getting to the national championship as an individual, which was awesome individually, but it was kind of a letdown as our team was really good that year. We had a really good team. We didn't make it to nationals. So I think we could have won pretty easily if we'd have made it there. For whatever reason, it didn't work out. And then the team the year after, when I was kind of helping out as an assistant coach, they won the national championship. So I got a piece of one, but I didn't play. And, I was happy for those guys. They were all my friends and we worked hard for it, but no offense to them. I probably shouldn't even say this, but I think the team the year before was better. And coach might agree, he might not. I think he would, but that's the way it goes. The timing was off.
It's all about timing. Nota Begay tells just an incredible story because he's such a ball buster. He talks about Stanford winning the national championship, and that was without Tiger Woods. And that's about the only thing he has on Tiger is he can do something like that.
That's a good one to have on him, though. If you got one, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah. Who was the biggest influence on your life? Like PGA Tour star, who did you look up to? Who did you try to model your game after, or always tuned him in?
Well, I think what was probably drew me into golf at that point was, just like everybody else, probably watching Tiger Woods dominate. He made golf look cool. I don't necessarily think I modeled my game after anyone in specifically. I was a big fan of Davis Love III, Ernie Els. I liked the way they played, good rhythm, good fundamentals, and just kind of good demeanor. And I didn't have that at all back then. I was kind of a hothead, a little bit of just competitive, and didn't really understand. Like I said, I was a late bloomer. I didn't really understand the mental side of golf like I do now, or like I learned in college. But yeah, I would say I've took a little bit here and there from probably everybody, but I was a big fan of Tiger, and like I said, Tiger, Ernie Els, Davis Love, Fred Couples. Those are probably my favorite players, when I was a young kid, when I was junior growing up.
Did you ever have a chance to meet any of them, or at least see them and have a moment where you're like, oh my God, there they are?
Yeah, I've actually met Davis a couple of times. And when a couple of my college teammates, when he won his 20th event at Disney, I think it was probably 2000, maybe fall of 08 or 09. He won his 20th event there at the Disney tournament, and a few of us were over there watching that. That was cool. But yeah, a few other times, maybe twice, I think, just bumping into him in Sea Island. I have a few friends that live up there, and I've spent a little bit of time there over the years, go up for a few days here and there, play some golf, and run into him. But I don't think he would know who I am. But yeah, I've met him a couple of times. Great guy. He's a gentleman. Tiger, I've gotten his autograph a couple of times when I was young. But I'd say the coolest thing.
Well, wait a minute. What was that like? All right, tell me about getting the autograph, and then I interrupted you. Something cool. Continue. My bad.
It's okay. It was the same time, so it was same thing with the Disney tournament. I think must have been an 8th grader or 9th grader. And I went with a group. I don't know if it was my golf team or maybe one of my clubs in high school, like one of the extracurricular clubs. We went over to a clinic that Tiger was putting on at Disney there. It wasn't many people. It was maybe a couple hundred people, mostly kids, juniors. And he came in from the back range in an SUV, coming straight down the middle, and gets out and does this. It felt like 2 hours. It probably wasn't. It was probably 30 minutes, but it felt like a 2-hour clinic where he just demonstrated. He went through the bag, shaping shots, hitting it high, low.
What was your reaction when you were seeing that? Were you like, oh my God?
He looked like a machine. It didn't seem like real. He didn't miss one shot. The swing looked perfect. The tempo, the fundamentals, the sound of the ball. And he looked like the greatest thing ever. Like there was no flaws. And that was, like I said, that was probably 2000. I was in 99, 2000, sometime around there. I was like an 8th or 9th grader, so it would have been, right in his peak of when he was just the best ever. And so I think he signed a little bit that day. A couple of us got his autograph, just like on a program. And then what was awesome was the finale of the clinic. There was a camera tower that was out there. They said it was like 310 yards out, and it was like 30 feet high. And he finished he's like, I'm going to hit a driver and I'm going to hit that camera tower out there. And he took one swing and it went right over top of it and it missed. And then he's like, oh, sorry guys, let me try again. And he hit the next one and he hit the tower in the air, 300 yards, 30 feet up in the air. Took him 2 tries and he hit the tower with a driver. I mean, you could sit there all day and hit perfect drives and miss it by 5 yards. I mean, that's still a great drive, but the fact that he hit it on command in front of those people, like, incredible. I mean,
those are some of the best Tiger stories, or the practice stories, because I remember like Mark O'Meara and John Cook talking about him when he lived at Isleworth. He would go jogging in military boots, and then he'd jog over and would grab their 2-iron out, and there's a target out 240 yards away, and he'd just rip it and never left it. And he's like, all right, see you guys. And they're like, we have no chance. And, or other people talking about like his divot patterns, or they're perfect, or sometimes there are no divots.
I think that was Darren Clark was on something and talking
yes,
about they were playing over there in Germany or somewhere on the European tour, and the turf was like a little bit, wasn't like the flushest turf, but it was good. It was tight. And he said it was a little damp, and he's like, everyone else is making nice divots or like kind of having to get a little steep on it to make sure they're hitting it solid. He said Tiger was done and hitting his whole session or whatever warm-up session, and there was like hardly a blade of grass missing.
Man, you are a golf nerd, because I remember, you're right. It was Darren Clark. It was Germany. It was wet. And you described. Yes. Okay. So you are a golf nerd like the rest of us. Brian Richey is our guest here. Big thanks to Party Drinks for sponsoring. Want to give a shout out to some of the places that support us very well. Brian, what's in that drink? Are we having something good?
It's just water.
Just water. Okay.
I promise. I'm sorry.
No. It's okay. We're an alcoholic beverage company. If you want to have one of those, that's fine too. Make it a party. Hey, let me give a shout out to some of the sponsors here, and also keep an eye on the bottom of the screen for some of the people that take care of Brian. If you're looking for an alternative golf drink, something that's better than the old tired hard seltzers or beer or whatever it is on the golf course, Party is a drink for you. For a list of the places where it's sold, log on to the internet at drinkparty.com. And a big thanks to the real estate dream team, the golf professionals, Gene Walsh and Vince Vizzacaro from suncoastdreams.com, a division of Fine Properties. If your dream is to buy a home on a golf course or in a golf resort community, or if you already live there and you're looking to sell, they're the people to take care of you. You can find them at suncoastdreams.com or call 941-220-4000. And a list of places. I'm just going to tell you some of the places where you can find Party right now. Esplanade Azario in Bradenton. Well, Lakewood Ranch area is probably a better way to say it. Rosedale Country Club, Misty Creek Country Club, Bent Tree Country Club in Sarasota, the Preserve Golf Club in Bradenton, 7-Eleven State Road 64 and Lorraine in Bradenton, Links at Greenfield Plantation. They sell a lot of Party there. And then right across the street, you have Lucky Mobile. So go play golf at the Links at Greenfield Plantation, then go across the street and get a couple to bring home to your family. Crescent Beach Market and Spearfish Grill on Siesta Key. Great places to patronize, and you can get your Party there. And also 2 places in Panama City Beach, Legacy Golf Club and Shark's Tooth. And one other place, right in Sarasota, best burger in town, no question about it. New Pass Grill and Bait Shop. That's on the way to Longboat Key. All right. So got to give a little love to the sponsors. You know how that goes, Brian. You've had sponsors, people that have taken good care of you in the past. Tell me where you are right now. Don't have status on the Korn Ferry Tour. Doing a great job on the West Florida Golf Tour. The dream still is the PGA Tour. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah. Currently, you have PGA Tour America status for this coming year, which came from my Canada season. So have a little bit of status, but yes, no Korn Ferry.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about how difficult is it? Everybody that I've had come on, they say, if you don't know what you're getting into with pro golf, you're going to get quite a wake-up call once it's there. Do you remember your first pro tournament and just the struggle and realizing how good the guys are everywhere?
Yes. My first pro tournament, it was at Kissimmee Bay Golf Club in Kissimmee, Florida. It was a little 2-day event right next to this airport. And we showed up. There was a bunch of players. It was a small entry fee, and I think I played okay. I think I shot a couple under, 2-3 under for 2 rounds. Pretty easy golf course, but it was a muni. It wasn't in good shape. I think I cashed a check for like $138, I think was what I got back. So didn't cover my expenses. Let's just say that.
How do you fund it now? Is it all prize money? Do you have some sponsors that are helping out? How do you keep the dream going?
Yeah, right now, I'm kind of just funding myself on prize money, and here and there, I can have a few people that will help me some. But it's the last few years has been a little bit tougher. I had a good run there where I was playing some good golf, and if you're playing on the Korn Ferry Tour, you can make a little bit of money to kind of get out ahead of it. But it's unless you're really crushing it on the Korn Ferry Tour, or you're really winning every event you play on the mini tours, you have to be pretty smart with your money, and you need to have some help. So there's not really any other way around it.
Mm-hmm. What's your biggest win to date?
My biggest win is I won on the Latin American Tour in 2017 in Uruguay. So it was long name. It was the Punta del Este Open. It was the Roberto Di Vincenzo Punta del Este Uruguay Open. It's a mouthful, but it was I think it was our 14th event out of 17 that year. It was in the fall. That was back when Latin was 2 different. It was like the first half of the year we played like 8 in the spring and early summer, and then they stopped for the summer and then played the rest in the fall. But that was my biggest one. It was wire to wire, and I think I ended up winning by 5. So it was a big win. It got me to the second place on that order of merit. So that pretty much locked up that I was going back to the Korn Ferry Tour, and it was a grind down there. But that's why I went down there, was to finish top 5, and I was happy that I was able to pull it off that year.
Just tell me the feelings that you had, like sleeping on leads, wire to wire, closing the deal. What were the emotions?
Well, it was, I think when you're playing well, you're not as nervous as probably people think you would be. Obviously that it may get a lot different if it's the Masters or the US Open or whatever. You're always nervous when you're in contention, because that's what you play for, and that's why you want to be that spot. I don't remember not sleeping. I think I got a decent night's sleep every night. I remember loving the golf course, the way that it's set up for my game, and feeling really good about where my game was at that time. Like, I felt like I should have already won that year, like a couple times, and I didn't get it done. So it was one of those things I kept putting myself there. I'm like, I kind of was not worried about it. I was like, it's going to happen. Like, I got 3 or 4 events left. Like, just keep doing it. I've been in the top 5 a bunch. Like, it's going to go my way at some point. But yeah, definitely, the last day, it was like, I was really stressing to like get off to a good start on that front 9, like play solid. I don't remember what my lead was, maybe 2 or 3 going to the last day. And I was just like, if I can shoot a couple under on this front and kind of, just kind of keep these guys away, basically. That was my kind of goal. And I ended up playing well and then pulling away kind of middle of the back nine. I made a couple birdies to kind of, and then of course a couple guys, I'm sure they were closer, but guys are trying to win. They were kind of probably chasing. A couple guys might've made a bogey here or there. Kind of, that's what you do when you get out in front. You can force people to have to go for things. And if you play kind of clean golf and avoid mistakes, then, that's how you win. That's what Tiger did all those years, was he didn't give anything back. He made those guys have to come get him.
No question about that. I mean, nobody,
I'm Tiger, but that's
nobody could close the deal. He did just, he got to a place where he needed to be. And then he just said, all right, yeah, come chase this. He played conservative golf. We've seen it so many times. That's a great position to be in if you can be there. You talked earlier at the beginning of our conversation about being too hard on yourself. And I think that's a familiar story that we have with competitive golfers. Did you ever find your self-esteem wrapped up in your golf game? Like, for example, if you were playing poor golf, did it impact your mood off the golf course and maybe you thought lesser of yourself as a person?
I'm sure that it did, at times. I think as I've gotten older, I try to do a good job of, I'll be mad for a little bit, but I try to, for like the old cliche, I try to leave it at the course if I can. Sometimes we're not perfect. I'm sure that I was, bringing it away or, being a little bit down on myself here and there. But yeah, I think as I've gotten older, when you have the right mindset and things don't go your way, it's much easier to handle. I'm still mad. I'm still competitive and I don't like playing bad or, messing up or making mistakes. But I think I've gotten better. When you get older, I think you can analyze it, say, all right, this is what I did. What do I need to do better? Or what do I need to, how can I adjust and do better the next day? And then once you kind of come to those conclusions of what your plan is, the next, move on and then attack the next day. That's kind of all you can really do. And I think, that comes with maturity and age and success. When you've had success, it's not as far away as you think it is. Maybe when you're in a slump, if that makes sense, you're never as far away as you think you are from good golf. And it can go the other way too. You can be playing great and all of a sudden you have a couple bad days. So you just have to kind of ride the ebbs and flows. And as cliche as it is, you can only control, you just control what you can control, stick to the process and try to do the best you can. That's all you can do.
It's nice to come home to a loving family too, isn't it? Sure. You're married and have a daughter. What's that like?
It's been awesome. I mean, I can't believe she's 15 months old. It's gone so fast. But yeah, it's been great. It's put a lot of things in perspective. You just, and that's probably part of it too. Like I talked about with the maturity and your age, when you have a family and you have other people, in your life that are more important than golf, it's easier to leave the golf at the golf course. If you play great, you're definitely in a better mood, but yeah, it's just golf. I think that's the biggest thing. It is a career. It's a tough one. But there's more important things, and that's all there is to it.
Yeah. Family and having a dog helps too. I just walk in the door and my dog thinks I'm a hero. Like it does not care.
He's laying at my feet right now.
Oh, can we bring him up? Who do we got here? This might be the first time we've ever had a dog crash the program.
Yeah, come here. Come on. He's sleeping right now.
Yeah, is he? Come
on.
That's what dogs do. What kind of dog is it? What's his name?
His name is Finn. He's a golden doodle.
Oh, those are the super duper dogs. They're hypoallergenic. Like, do you have allergies or something? Is that the whole point?
No, I mean, my wife, so she had a golden doodle before we were dating. And we got another one. So, I think part of it's the shedding, maybe. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's cleaner around the house, but they're great dogs. Golden Retriever, poodle mix. They're two great personalities.
Yes. You know. Hey, we're getting a little tight on time, so let's rip through a couple and have some fun. What's the lowest round you've ever shot in competition or socially? Just the lowest, and tell me about it.
61 socially, in practice, and 62 3 times in competition. Awesome. I feel like you get in the zone and you kind of know you're going low, but you don't really know how low. You just you just kind of, you're playing it like a one shot at a time. You're kind of just plodding your way along, making a few putts. Then all of a sudden you hit a couple shots close. Maybe the one shot you hit down the right side or left side of the tree line or something ends up fine. You make par or birdie, I don't remember the 61 socially as much as I remember the 62s in competition. The first 62 I shot was in a Hopkins Tour event in Atlanta, and I was 11 through 14, and it was a pretty gettable golf course. It was the Frog. I think it was more the time of year, bent grass at like August, and August in Atlanta, kind of soft. But I was finishing on the front, and I was 11 under through 14, and that was probably the only time that it crossed my mind, like I'm doing it. I'm about to shoot it, because I had a short par 4 coming up, and then like a medium par 3, and then another, and I ended up making bogey on that fifth. It was number 6, which was my 15th hole. I hit it down by the green. I had like a 40-yard pitch out of the rough, but it was kind of short-sided to a false front, and I kind of didn't get it up the false front, and then ended up 3-putting from the fringe.
Well, you say, let me stop you just for a sec. You said, I'm going to do it. Are you talking about? Hey, there's the dog. There we go. Hold on a minute. Keep him up. What's his name? This is Finn?
Yeah, it's Finn.
All right. Finn. Do you think Finn cares a lick what we're doing right now, or Finn's just doing Finn things?
Come on. He just wants to say hi. Yeah.
All right. He's fan. He can stay. He can stay. So back to the 62. You were thinking about what was 59 in your head?
For sure.
Okay.
And I was that was 2014. I was only in my third or fourth year as a pro. It was like, I don't think it would have come across my mind now if I was that same. I mean, it maybe would, but I would have done a better job of kind of blocking it out. So, but yeah, it crossed my mind. And then of course because I'm thinking I'm going to make birdie here. And then all I've got to do is hit, like the last 3 were like, I don't want to say they're gimmies, but the last 3, I was like, they're just normal holes. Like I can easily birdie one of them just playing good. I mean, I'm playing good golf. So, but then, I messed it up. So 62.
All right. Let's have some fun here. What's the March Madness story? And maybe, several beers. I want to know.
Yeah. My first year on the Corn Ferry Tour, which was the web.com tour then, I think. Yeah. And we're playing in Lafayette, Louisiana. It was our 5th event of 5 in a row. I think we started, the first 4 were in South America, and then we went to Lafayette. And I remember playing not great, decent, but not great, not putting that great. And I think I tried a new putter that week because I hadn't putted well the first 4 weeks. And I finished in the morning, Friday morning, the early wave. I'm like, I think I'm 1 under for the tournament. And I'm like, the cuts, I think I was like T58 or something like at that point, T58 or 60. And it's a 65 in ties cut. I paid my caddy, had him for the week, guy from Memphis, paid him, said, hey man, sorry. I'll see you in a few weeks, down the road. If you're out, well, maybe we'll link back up. And then a few of us, it's March Madness. I don't remember which weekend it was, but it was one of the weekends, one of the first 2 where there's like a bunch of games on. So a couple of us went over.
And you're coming off 5 straight.
5,
yeah. So you want to have
5th,
some.
Yeah. Yeah. 5th.
So it's time for some beers in some capacity, right?
Oh yeah. Time for some beers. I mean, they're cold. When you go watch some sports, they're always colder. But you're in Lafayette, you can't really like jump a flight that night to get home because you're going to have to connect somewhere. So you're just going to fly home the next day anyways. So go to Buffalo Wild Wings for the afternoon, evening, have some dinner, have some beers, watching the games. And then they finished play or whatever that night. And I got the text that I had at my tee time for the next morning. And I was like, oh, okay. Didn't know I made the cut. I kind of quit watching it because I think at some point I'm sure it must have gone past T65 where I was like T67 or T68 or something.
So,
I'm sure I was
you're in.
But then I'm in, now I'm like texting my caddy. I'm like, hey, how far did you make? Or I called him. I was like, how far did you make it? He's like, I only got about 2 hours east because I kind of was watching it. And then once it got real close, I just kind of pulled over and got some food. And he's like, I'm heading back. So he came back. And then we had probably the 7:30 or 20 tee time the next morning. So it was, I had to go home that pretty much right when I got the text. I was like, all right, I need to get some sleep. So, but it was.
How did you do that weekend? Yeah.
It wasn't, it was around 50, probably mid 50s, something like that. I think I shot maybe one, it wasn't, I didn't make a charge or anything, but I got a check, which I didn't expect. So that's always nice.
Yeah. You got any Joel Damon stories?
I have just the one he's told before from that same year. I think it was Springfield. It was something like that. Similar deal, finished in the morning and went and had fun at this par 3 course, drinking and stuff with his caddy and hanging out with a bunch of buddies. And then same thing. And that's in the summertime. So it doesn't get dark till 8:30 or 9. So, you won't get your text for your tee time till maybe sometimes after 9, if everybody's like cramming in to finish before dark. So yeah, he got his text. And I'm sure he was in much worse shape than I was. I mean, I was feeling pretty good, but I wasn't probably quite where he was. And then I think he topped 5 that week too, which helped him get his card that year. So
when we saw him on Full Swing, the documentary behind the scenes of the PGA Tour, and he was sectional qualifying for the U.S. Open, and after his first 18 holes, he had a couple White Claws. Like, that is a surprise to nobody, and certainly not to you.
No, not really. I mean, I don't know if he would ever, do that in a regular tournament during the round.
I wouldn't think so.
It's a U.S. Open. You're kind of out of it. It's a 36 holes. He's probably thinking if he doesn't play good on the first 9 of the afternoon that he's going to hit the road anyways. So, why not? And it's probably wherever he was. I mean, everywhere. It doesn't matter if you're in Florida or the Northeast or Midwest. I mean, it's hot. It's always the first or second week of June, and it's hot everywhere. So you're struggling. That 36-hole day it's the longest day in golf for a reason.
It is. They call it that. And you know what? It worked because he qualified. He played great this second 18, got in, and then he was in contention. He almost won.
And then he was in contention at Brookline. Yep.
I know.
It's crazy how things can change like that,
He's a beauty. All right, Brian, as we wrap it up here, are you in it for life? How long will you chase the dream? I know there have been ups and downs. And let me just hear in your words.
Yeah, this is probably the last couple of years are the first time that I've had to really think about it. I mean, it's a hard deal. You get older, you think you should have made it already. And, when I started, I probably told myself, I'll give myself several years, till I'm 40 or something. And then as you play, I think that you change your mindset to more of as long as I feel like I can continue to improve and I am improving, then you have to keep playing. That's kind of where I'm at. But it's I don't want to say that I am done if I don't do this or that. I try not to think that way. I mean, it's a tough deal. You have to, if you're in this, you can't have a plan B. But when you have a wife and a family, you got to think about them as well. So. I'm not really sure, how long. I mean, I know that I'm good enough. I know that I can play at that level. And this is probably the first time the last few years that I've played consistently enough where if I could get out there, I know that I could stay out there. Before I knew I was good enough, but I was like, I needed the consistency behind it. And now I think it's there. So I mean, maybe have me back on in a year from now and I can answer that question a little bit better. But
that sounds good.
That's about as good as I can answer it.
it just sounds like you have the maturity, you have the perspective, and maybe this is the perfect storm all coming together for you at the time you need it most. I certainly hope that's the case. Brian, I really appreciate your time. I wish you nothing but the best. And I say that to all my guests, but let's keep in touch, keep the good golf rolling on the West Florida Golf Tour, or if you get elevated to somewhere else, then come back. You always got a place here. All right?
For sure. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. Enjoyed it.
All right. Thanks a lot. Hey, just stand by as I take care of some housekeeping here. Hey, big thanks to our title sponsor, Party Drinks, and also the real estate golf team of Vince Visicaro and Gene Walsh. For a list of the different places where Party is available, log on to our website at drinkparty.com. For Brian Richey, I'm Kevin Walsh. Take care. We'll see you again on the next edition of It's Party Time, My Golf Story.
You've been listening to It's Party Time, My Golf Story, brought to you by Party Drinks. Classically designed golf drinks for golfers by golfers, and the golf real estate pros Gene Walsh and Vince Visicaro. For your Southwest Florida real estate needs, check them out at suncoastdreams.com or call 941-220-4000.
Hi, this is Vince Visicaro. I'm with Gene Walsh. We're both members of the suncoastdreams.com real estate team, members of Fine Properties. We're doing a closer look at a neighborhood today in Lakewood Ranch, and it's called Lakewood National. I consider us experts because we both live here. We know it well. We both have obviously a lot of good experience here. The team has sold about 20 homes in this neighborhood. I think we have a lot of experience. I don't know if any real estate team has sold more. But I want to tell you some of the finer details about the neighborhood and what it's like to live here. So just as a starting point, there are 1,531 homes in Lakewood National. There are condos. There are 3 different classes of condos. There's a terrace condo, which is a 4-story building. There is a veranda condo, which is a 2-story building with a 1-car garage. And coach homes that have either an upper or a lower. The lower has a 2-car garage. The upper has a 2-car garage plus a tandem spot for a golf cart. And those are 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. Then for the single-family homes, there's 2 classes. There's the executive class and the estate class, and both options offer lovely homes to choose from. So Jean was a client of mine who I helped buy in Lakewood National, and she bought a Napoli Grand. Please tell me about your house.
I love my home. We've been in it for almost 2 years, and it has an amazing view of the golf course. When you first walk in, you see this great room, and then right outside is the golf course. We have a pool with a hot tub, which is just lovely. Some things that I really like about the home are the fact that we have 3 separate living areas. So we have master on the first floor, we have a guest suite on the other side of the home, and then we have a bonus room, which is the Grand of the Napoli Grand, which gives it the name. And up there we have space for my 2 daughters. They're in college, so when they come home on the weekends or for breaks, they have a place to stay.
Fantastic. I live in a Sunset model. That model floored me when I first saw it. Yep. It's got a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, den, 3-car garage design, very open space concept, and I love it. We enjoy it quite a bit. And but I also want to talk about the amenities here. That's
so amazing.
One of the things about Lakewood National that sets it apart from most neighborhoods in Lakewood Ranch are the amenities. We have, first of all, got to talk about golf first. I was going to go into tennis, but golf is kind of a number one thing here. We have the Commander course, which is the number 1 rated course in all of Florida. We also have the Piper course, which is a number 4 rated course in all of Florida. They're both amazing. They're both kept in fantastic shape. Our practice facilities are fantastic. Can't pick a better golf community anywhere, frankly, in my opinion. Then we also have tennis, clay courts. 8 clay courts, a practice court that has a ball machine, which is fantastic. 4 pickleball courts. Pickleball, if you haven't played it, you gotta. Pickleball is a blast. It's really fun. It's a blast, and it's not quite as much running around as tennis is, so it's a lot more easier to play, I think, in my opinion. There's bocce ball. We have a tiki bar and restaurant. We have a resort-style pool, which you can see in the background here, which is utterly amazing. There's a spa. There's a spa in the inside of the clubhouse too that offers massages, facials, nails done, hair. You name it, they do it. We have an awesome fitness center that I need to start using more, frankly. But also, there's a lot of social things that we do here, too. Why don't you talk about those, too, please?
Yes, super fun. So I'm getting ready. On Friday, we're having our holiday gala. And I think we're going to have about, I think they said almost 500 people are going to be attending. Yeah. So it's going to be really fun. It's going to be out here at the pool and the tiki bar. And so that is an annual favorite. Yeah. And then there's so many more events. What I love about the neighborhood is when the children come out for the fun holidays, they decorate their golf carts. So for Halloween, we had a parade, and then when it was time to trick or treat, everybody came out on their driveways and in the neighborhood, and there was just so much spirit and excitement. So that's what I love, and there's lots to do. So we do have an activity director, Rob, so you might see him on YouTube. He's been talking about all the different fun things that he has planned, so it just adds to the whole spirit of the neighborhood, I think.
Fantastic. Mm-hmm. We can't speak highly enough about Lakewood National. Call us to learn more. You can visit us at suncoastdreams.com or call us at 941-220-4000.